Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Techinar, Engaging Conversations with Your Followers, a complete guide to implementing Facebook Live. I'm Susan Harrison, Senior Vice President with Exit Realty, and I'll be moderating this session. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please type them into your question box on your GoToWebinar pane. We'll do our best to address them. You are in listen-only mode, and today's Techinar is being recorded. The number one way to interact with your social audience is through conversation. Statistics show that in 2018, video on social media produced 1,200% more shares than images and text combined. Facebook Live helps you connect directly with your social audience in real time. Don't be a scaredy cat. Annette is going to walk you through the process from start to finish and share her best practices and tips for you to go from beginner to pro in no time. Annette?
Yes, thank you so much, Susan. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing great today. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. You know, we've got a lot to cover. We've got so much to talk about with this really simple topic. You see, Facebook has made it incredibly easy for anyone of any level to start broadcasting live using their mobile device or desktop for that matter. You've got to understand that in a world of instant gratification and consuming information at lightning speed, video is where we need to focus our attention because live video takes regular video to a whole other incredible level. You can literally leapfrog your competition if you engage more live video because what it does is it invites them in and it gives them an absolute sense of who you are. And you know what? You're awesome, by the way, if you don't already know it. I'm telling you, you're awesome. You see, a statistic I came across last year was, really stopped me in my tracks and refocused how, I need to engage. And the statistic was, you want to write this down, was that 90% of content is retained through video versus 10% when read. And I was like, wow, because what that did is that really forced me to make a decision, and that's to do more videos so that I can maximize my communication efforts. You see, when they watch my live videos, my audience has a true sense of who I am. And live video is not staged. It is not professionally produced. It's raw, and it unfolds as it's happening. And the best part is I'm not talking to myself. You see, I get to interact with an audience, and my audience is who I've built over time. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to dig in together. We're going to roll up our sleeves so that you have a complete sense of what Facebook Live is all about, because you may or may not use all of the features, but at least you're going to be similar, or you're going to be familiar with them all. So we're going to talk about some interesting stats, right? Affirming that you're not wasting your efforts by adding Facebook Live into your business for 2019. We're also going to talk about the anatomy of Facebook because there's definitely settings to know that's going to give you control of how you want your audience to experience your Facebook Live. And you know what? I travel all over the place and I speak to agents from all over, and they say that they would likely do more Facebook Live if they understood how to use it. And usually when I have that conversation with them, I'm the first to say, you know what, let's just do it now. And they're so surprised. I'll grab their phone and we'll just go live. And you know what's fun is that they all realize that it was just that simple. That apprehension has kept them from being awesome, and now that they understood it, they were able to move on. But I get it. You know what? There's so many personalities out there who need just a little bit more information before they can move on and apply it. And if that's you, I got you covered. Okay, we've got you covered. We're also going to talk about the 10 tips you need to live stream like a pro. So don't miss this, because I've got tips from the pros and things that I've personally experienced over time that's improved my efforts every time that I do Facebook Live. And of course, we're going to give you some ideas. It's going to inspire you to use Facebook Live because there's some really great moments that you're experiencing already, and you can share those experiences with a much larger audience. And I'm also I won't forget to give you a plan to help you commit to more live streaming this year and definitely beyond. So let's get started. You know what? Marketers such as HubSpot and Insidious say that video streaming market is projected to be worth a whopping 70 billion by 2021. I apologize. I made an error on the slide deck here. It's 70 billion with a B, folks. So write that down, which is incredible. And you need to understand that video streaming market, it continues to expand over the next several years. So expect live streaming video to take over online media outlets everywhere. So if you're planning on incorporating live stream on a consistent basis, I'm going to also give you some additional stats to remember. 78% of online audiences are already watching video on Facebook Live. And 90% of those viewers think video quality is really the most important aspect of Facebook Live videos. Facebook is currently the most popular platform for live streaming video. It even surpasses YouTube's live streaming. And this could be because Facebook has over 2 billion users compared to YouTube's 1 billion users. And Facebook is irresistible because it makes it possible to access video inside its app and also on Instagram's Live Stories app also. And users love this because it ensures higher quality and easier ways to share live video content with a vast audience on social media. For instance, like this photo on the slide, right? You're literally having a conversation with multitudes of people versus one person watching a recorded video. Yet each person watching live, I got to tell you, they feel intimately connected with you in conversation. And you got to ask yourself, would you rather have someone talking at you or with you? And I'm sure you likely answered with you. That's the whole idea. The other statistic here is 87% of audiences, they want the behind the scenes access, and they prefer to watch online live stream video when it comes, when it offers more behind the scenes content, like, than traditional television. I want you to think about for a moment, I want you to think about that because you're going to want to consider perhaps hosting some live webcasts that go behind the scenes, maybe reviewing of how you develop your listing presentations, how you stage a home and why staging is important, how you consider comps and what are the factors to consider when pricing a home well, and what about including what it takes to successfully photograph or shoot video for your listing. What it does, it really demonstrates to your future client all the preparation that you take, that care to show the home beautifully. And that's really important, that they really see the value. In addition, 82% of viewers prefer live video to social media posts. And 80% prefer live video to reading a blog. Now, it's not about more information because, you know what, there's just an abundance of information. But what it is it's about consuming it faster. And remember that the statistic that I talked to you, that people retain 90% within a video versus 10% of what's written. So there's some value there. And interestingly, 75% of executives who watch videos on business websites, they do so at least once a week. And 59% of executives would rather watch a video than read text. You got to think about that because your clients and prospects, they're executives, right? And executives are busy. And if you want to grab their attention, host a live webcast. Finally, live stream video is going to ensure that your brand is discovered in search engines. And what that does is it sells more across, different online mediums, including video on a landing page or email can also increase conversions by as much as 80%. You see, consumers want to get to know the person responsible for selling their home or who's going to help them buy one. So in addition to ensuring that you have video on your website, that's very important, consider also adding video to your monthly newsletter. Now, we can find more stats, and there's certainly no shortage of proven studies why this can amplify your brand. It can also accelerate relationship building, and you're going to be building the trust among your audience. And if you do this, what's going to happen is you can see yourself getting at least, ask yourself, can you see yourself getting at least one more deal over time? And the answer is yes. So this is definitely worth doing. So now let's take a moment. I want to dive in to Facebook Live to help you understand the settings that you can control so that you can determine the experience that you want your audience to have. You know, statistics are really impressive and they certainly drive to the point that each of us want to succeed in engaging with our audiences. But we need to make the commitment, right, to add Facebook Live into your business acumen. And for those who hesitate, you know, to apply Facebook Live because they don't fully understand how it works, listen, we're going to cover that. And I'm going to show you all the components of Facebook Live so that you really understand how to leverage this in your business. Now, like you would, let's dive in. This is a screenshot of my phone. So on your mobile device, actually, while you're watching this Techinar, take out your mobile phone and follow along with me, okay? You're going to see, go ahead and open up your Facebook app, but don't get too distracted. We're working here. Open up your mobile device and you can go to Facebook and go to where you would typically proceed to post a status, right? From your profile or from a page or even from a group. What you're going to find is below where you would enter, you know, text or you would tag a friend or add your location, you're going to see the Go Live option. I know some of you have avoided this like the plague, but we're going to just click on it together, right? Click on the Go Live action, the animation, the Go Live icon. When you click on it, you literally, I'm telling you, you are literally ready to go. We can actually stop the broadcast here because this is it, guys. This is all that you need. You click on Go Live, click on Start Video, and you are ready to go. But we're not going to stop right now, right? But what you're going to notice is it's really that easy. There is no barrier to Facebook Live. Anyone with a mobile device can start broadcasting on the fly. But before I let you loose, right, to go out and broadcast on the go, I want to share with you some really important settings that you want to know. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some tips that you don't want to miss, and it's going to help you because it's going to give you some. I'm going to also give you some really great ideas that you can leverage for your next live experience. So let's talk about the privacy settings. On the left-hand side of our slide here, you're going to notice that you have your privacy settings. I'm going to go ahead and circle it. You'll see public. Now you can choose who views your Facebook Live broadcast. Real simple. By clicking on the public icon, your options expand. So let's take a look at that right in the center of the screen. Your options expand, and this gives you the choice where you can allow either the public, so that's anybody, even if they're not connected with you. You can also select by friends. These are the people that you've connected with. And there's also friends except, which is pretty interesting. This gives you the control to remove anyone that you don't want them to see this Facebook Live. So for example, when you click on friends except, what it does is right here on the right-hand side, you can actually either type their name or you can, to search them, of course, or you can pick from the list by selecting them, right here from the list. Just click on the radio dial and you can do a Facebook Live without, those specific individuals. Now, under the friends except option is only me. Let's talk about that. The only me option is really great. Actually, it's genius because what this does is this enables you to go live, but it will only be seen by you, okay? So use this to practice. This is absolutely a great option for a beginner to use so that they can practice. And you can broadcast and you can post as you normally would to an audience, but this mode is just for you. Once you post it, and you can review it so that you understand what your audience would see. But once you're ready to put yourself out there, be sure that you change the setting from only me back to either public or friends, okay? So let's continue to dive a little deeper. Under the only me button is see more. And easily what you can do is you can go live with custom groups and lists. This is really important because if you've taken the time to create a group or you've created a previous list and you want to broadcast a special message just to them in real time, you're going to be able to do that. And you can do that and have a real conversation with your specific groups or your list. Remember, posts are good, right? But to a group or a list, and you're sharing an image, that's better. But when you're actually doing video where it's live and you're engaging, that's absolute king right there. Now, just beneath that, you'll see send notifications. This allows you the ability to alert your audience that you're actually broadcasting live. And once you've chosen your setting or your group or your list, let's now talk about some themes here, okay? So we've talked about the groups, we've talked about lists, you can broadcast to a certain page, but there are also themes. Themes are either live video, lip sync live, or bring a friend, and then there's more options. And you're probably saying, what did you just say? Yes, I said lip sync live. You can actually lip sync right here. You can pick a genre of music. You can choose from a list of songs. I know, did this just get weird? It did. And if you love to do your lip syncing, this is how to do it. Now, I have to admit, I have never been able to been brave enough to attempt this, but listen, if you're brave, you can do this too. But I really love the bring a friend. This is another type of a theme where you can draw people into a conversation and they can be live with you. So for example, when you click on bring a friend, what's going to happen is you'll see the ability to be able to choose from a list of friends that you're connected with. I want you to think about that for a second, because this is really especially great when one of your connections is a business partner, maybe like a lender or a home inspector. You can interview them and have them share a tip or two that would be especially helpful for your audience. And what this does is this also takes some of the pressure that maybe you're stressing over, right? Let someone else impart some knowledge on your audience. I want you to remember that it doesn't just have to be you delivering content. You can also make this a regular series. You can pick different topics each month. You can market that topic and build anticipation for each session. Now, our CEO, Tammy Bunnell, always talks about building your dirty dozen. A dirty dozen are people who support your business, but are in and around the real estate industry, such as those who specialize in home appraisers, mortgage, banking, title, real estate law, staging. There's so many of these types of professionals, right? They specialize in their field. You should consider featuring one of them on a live broadcast. Have them share a point or two that would benefit home buyers or sellers. You see, your audience is going to appreciate it. And what's great is from this panel, you can bring them into your live broadcast and, be able to experience this from two separate locations. They could be in their office in a different state, but you can pull them in to a great conversation from multiple locations. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, it's about to get weird. It is. Now, as cool as Facebook Live is, it can definitely get weird, which there are people who thrive on weirdness. And if this is you, listen, we got you covered also, because in Facebook Live, there's a setting in the theme where you can pick from a variety of masks. Now, the mask will appear on your face as you're broadcasting. So, like, here's the mystery mask, right? Which is a surprise. You don't even know what it is. But when you click on the mystery mask, what it does is it imposes this mask over your face, which is quite interesting. Now, this too, I will admit, I just can't bring myself to do this because I want people to take me seriously. But in honesty, if you saw this on your news feed, I'm sure you'd be like, what the heck is this, right? And it might even cause you to watch, but I just can't do it. I can't. Now, a catchy title. This is probably the most obvious thing to cover here, because it is absolutely about your title or your description of your broadcast. You also have the ability to add your current mood or your emotion. You can add, all of these extra things to give that engagement to your audience. We're going to cover some of these in our tips not to miss. But what you're going to notice here is also right next to the Start Live Video, let me circle that. You're going to see a little wand, and this allows you to choose from filters to enhance your video experience also. You're going to find that these filters are very similar to those that you see on Snapchat, which it'll just further engage your audience. Now, we've covered a lot, and the only thing to do now is to hit Start Live Video. And I know that, once you actually hit the Start Live Video, here's what's going to happen. You're going to see a red record button icon, and the word live is going to be shown next to the icon. and you're going to see a number of people who are watching in real time. And as they join and watch your broadcast, you're going to be able to see who's watching. And it's really great when you acknowledge someone who's on, when you call their name out and say, hey, Susan, thank you so much for watching. People love that. Now, going live from your mobile phone is super quick and easy, and it's especially engaging when you're on the go, but you can also go live from your desktop, okay? So there you go, pretty easy. And now that you have a really good understanding, right now is the perfect time to talk about some tips not to miss. And what I've done is I've taken the time to outline 10 things that, you want to make sure that you don't miss. And I'm going to do these David Letterman style, right? We're going to start with number 10, and we're going to work our way all the way down to number 1. And I'll show a couple of these tips on the screen at the same time. But we're going to go through each one carefully. You guys ready? There's 10 things that I've learned from influencers in the industry. I've also learned from experience. So number 10, David Letterman style. First and foremost, comments, right? Just when you think that you're done with your broadcast, you're not. You're really not. You got to go back to your comments posted by your viewers, right? This is really important because you could be answering a question or responding to a comment. That is the equivalent of someone asking you something in person and you not responding. So you want to make sure that you go back and respond, comment. Even a like is better than nothing at all. So you can like their comment, but definitely engage with them. Now, even I need to get better at this, and it's work, I got to tell you, but it's also acknowledgement. And people feel like they matter, and that's why we do this, right? So you can comment while you're live as well, or you can just go back and make sure that everyone has been touched from your broadcast. Number 9, what I mean here about getting support is really important, is that you can have someone help you, whether they're on site with you, they can hold a camera, or they can help with the lighting, or they could be someone within your office or someone off site somewhere else that you can have them come in remote, and you can help them, you can have them answer some of the questions in the comments made by your viewers. So if you mention in your broadcast like a website, you would have that individual that you trust type in the comments the actual URL for the website. Or if you mention a tip, you want that trusted person to write that tip so that people, as they're watching and listening, they're also gaining those little notes. That's really helpful. You can also have that person send a thank you for attending. You can remind them to comment if they hadn't on the broadcast. And I want you to remember that you don't have to be a one-man band, but having that extra person can be incredibly helpful for your broadcast. Let's talk about number 8. Turning off your notifications. So important, because if you don't, you're going to have the annoying dings, the alerts, and even calls coming in that can absolutely derail the quality of your broadcast. And you certainly don't want to be distracted, right, while you're trying to do your live broadcast. Your audience is focusing on you, and you need to focus on them. All right, number 7, building anticipation is really important, because you can use Facebook's scheduling tool to set up posts to go out in the future. And what you could do is you can market that your broadcast is going to take place at a certain day, at a certain time. And what this will do is it's going to potentially help increase your viewership, because they'll be anticipating your broadcast. They'll know when you're going to be on. They're going to make sure to try not to miss it. And what's important is even our very own Tammy Bunnell. She was interviewed by Inman News, and because we knew the date and the time, we were able to alert our exit nation in advance, and we made sure not to miss the interview. It was awesome. She gave great tips for unique lead generation opportunities, and she also talked about ways to grow your business and your brand in the new year. Knowing in advance when you're actually going to go live, it helps your audience prepare. So don't get too hung up on what perfect date or time, to do a live broadcast, because everyone's audience is different. The best part is that your audience can watch the replay later. So that's good too. Now, number 6, lighting, super important. If the lighting is bad, listen, the experience will also be bad. Now, there's just no way around it, right? It's video, and the ability to see it clearly is kind of a big deal. And your audience will not stick around if the video that they can't make out very well They're just not going to hang out. So if you can shoot from outside or near a window, do it, because natural lighting is your best friend. The quality will be much more appealing for your audience. And it's not what you see, right? It's what they see that's the most important. And then just like lighting, audio, super important. So the quality of what they hear is paramount, because once the video is done, you can save the video and you can use services like Fiverr or Rev to create closed captions, which is great because think of your audience that watches video with the sound off, right? Closed caption is very important in those instances. And if you like the content that you shared enough, you can even, again, Fiverr or Rev, they can transcribe it for you so that you could turn it into content for a future blog, or you can create an infographic. So think about that, repurposing content, right? That's awesome. But again, audio is really important. You can also use a lav mic if you need, with a windscreen, especially if it's windy outside. But I want you to also remember that mostly the quality of your phone mic, it's going to be great. More often than not, it's going to work just fine. So don't overthink it, especially as you're getting started. Okay, here's a big one. And we're getting close to number 1. Number 4 is you got to check the charge on your phone, because no one appreciates a good charge unless you don't have one, right? Unless you no longer have juice and your phone dies and one of the most epic broadcasts ever is dead. So better yet, if you can, keep your phone plugged into a power source or a portable power bank. This is going to ensure that you're not going to run out of power while you're broadcasting, because it does use up, more juice than just keeping your phone on and using it for phone calls. Number 3, the need for speed. You got to check in advance that you have a strong signal, because a good signal is, I call it the silent hero of any broadcast, right? Because and what you can also do is you could do a speed test on your phone by going to speedtest.net. Again, it's speedtest.net. Wi-Fi tends to be the best option to use, but if you can't find a network, you'll want to use a 4G connection. So use your data. And also, here's another professional tip for those people that have been using Facebook Live. The tip is to restart your phone from time to time to ensure that you have the latest updates, right? Doing so can certainly add to the success of your future broadcast. All right, we're getting close to number 1. Here's number 2. Now, number 2 is the title of your broadcast, because you're competing. Remember, in people's news feeds, it is so noisy, and you are absolutely competing with their thumbs, right? You got to make sure that you've got a title that is thumb stopping, because it may not get noticed, or it may not be exciting enough to make someone stop their behavior, right? To stop what they're doing, to click on your broadcast and watch it. Because here's what you want. You want to make sure that whatever they're doing on social media, that you disrupt their current behavior, and what you're asking them to do is to stop and watch your broadcast. So I remember, here's a Facebook Live that I actually did. This was about a year and a half ago, to announce that our daughter had just recently gotten engaged. And my title, no joke, was "Big Announcement" in all caps. Hashtag "We're expecting." Now, I had my neighbors and my friends come over. We gathered around our kitchen. They knew nothing. All they knew is they got a text from me, and I'm like, "You've got to come over. This is big news. Brady and I have something to share with you. You've got to come over." So I also had it on Facebook Live, because our, son-in-law now, his family's in Texas. We wanted them to be part of this really big announcement. I also had, people viewing from the broadcast. I had over 3,000 people tuning in. And you got to be asking yourself, so why? I mean, think about it. They probably thought that I absolutely lost my mind and got pregnant, right? At 46 years of age, after we became empty nesters, which could have happened, but listen, we're not crazy, right? So we announced that we were expecting a son-in-law. That's what we were expecting. Now, what I'm also saying is that you need to be sure that you deliver, right? So when I had that big title, I had to make sure that the announcement was the equivalent. So it was, right? You want to make sure that your title matches the excitement of what it is that you're broadcasting. Now, over time, you know what? If it doesn't, your audience is going to tune out. You know this, right? So you got to really treat this with kindness and thought, because it's special to get people to tune in, and you've got to respect their attention. Okay, Number one, do you guys know what it is? Any guesses? It's actually a pretty simple one. Number one is you got to have a plan. This is the most important thing. Your plan, it's got to align and make sure that your audience receives a special experience. So it takes planning. That's going to require some preparation, some thought, to take the time and write out, what do you want to share? What will the topic be? And what do you want to share with your audience? How will you intro your broadcast? How will you close your broadcast? Will you remember to mention where they can find out more information? Where will you send them to go to that said information? What will they experience as a result of your broadcast? Is this broadcast to build your brand, or is it to build your community? Now, neither of these is wrong, but you just need to know in advance, what are you planning to do? Because that will give you a better visualization of what you want to actually be intent in your live broadcast. Now, here's what I know. Having a calendar with dates where you intend to go live is certainly going to keep you accountable. It's made a tremendous difference for me. And having a calendar, it's a great thing. So you want to take some time each month to identify, when are you going to go live, and how can you leverage pulling in an audience to experience a moment of what it is that you're doing. Now, you can be brief, and we're not talking today about hours of content, but well thought out content can give your audience the equivalent of increased respect and value that they have in you. And you know what? I'll take that any day. So taking that plan and putting it into your calendar is going to really help you be successful. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, well, gee, I get it. I have a good idea of how Facebook Live works. I understand some tips to be successful, and I'm going to put it in my calendar for intentional reason to get, for intentional time to get on Facebook Live. But what might be some ideas, right? I need some ideas to get inspired to do live broadcasts. So here's some thoughts. Now, we're going to go through each of these because here are numerous reasons. And actually, you can sit down with your team at your office, huddle around, and just have conversation of what might be some great ideas to do some live broadcasts. So here's some ideas. Number one, an office meeting, right? Office meetings are a great way that you can, share the experience in the office of what it is that you're doing, how people engage. And the most important thing that I can suggest to you is you really want to make sure that you talk to your broker owner first and get permission, because oftentimes there are webinars or office meetings that, have very sensitive information, and it's not for public knowledge, right? So you want to absolutely, if you're thinking about doing a Facebook Live of your office meeting, get permission. And also, not everyone wants to be on video. You may have a prospect that comes into the office that wants to get to know the culture. They don't want to be found out. So be respectful if you're going to be at an office meeting. But I've seen some amazing experiences where the camera is focused on the broker owner, and the broker owner is just talking about some stats and some great things that they've got going on in the month ahead for the office. And it was a fabulous way for people to get a taste of what it's like for your, what's it like, the leadership that you have in your office. It was great. Number two, community events are a great way to feature, again, take the pressure off of you, focus on, do a kind of a report of what's going on in the community. Go to your Chamber of Commerce. They have phenomenal lists of calendars of what's going on in the community. It doesn't have to be your community events. It could be community events that are already taking place. Attend the event. Do a broadcast live that just gives them a sneak peek of what's going on for the day. Booths might be setting up, or children activities might be setting up, or information might be ready to get, placed on tables. Community events are a great way for you to report live of what's going on, and it shows that you participate and engage with the community. Next is habitat builds or similar type of events where you're raising funds for amazing causes. Think about who's watching. Your future clients are watching, and having them witness you participate in great things like building homes for families, or raising funds to help a cause. These are great things that you're doing. It's not all about real estate. It's about getting involved and being passionate and showing them why you're so passionate. Number 4, a monthly market update. My goodness, this is a great way to just feature perhaps a 5-minute live broadcast about what's going on in the market, what changed from the previous month or the previous quarter, or what's coming ahead. They're great things that you can report. And if you're looking for ideas, go to your local board. They have wonderful information. Go to realtor.org. There's lots of information. The National Association of Realtors, so many different types of content that you can go to. And if you're still lost for what to say, go to your broker owner and just have them suggest a few bullets of what you might say. This would be a great conversation to share with the community what's going on with the market right there in their immediate area. You've got community projects, so anything that you're doing, if you're holding a seminar or if you're helping a school with a special project, getting on Facebook Live is great just to give people a little insight of maybe remember the behind the scenes of what it takes to put an event like that together. Number 6 is a networking event. Think about all the networking events that you attend where you engage with other real estate professionals like YPN, also Women's Council of Realtors, the National Association of Realtors. There's phenomenal networking events, even the BNI. These are great events where you can just, as you're ready to go in or as you're wrapping up the meeting, you can just get on Facebook Live just briefly and say, hey, I'm here. I learned something pretty interesting today. And you can share it with your audience. Be brief. Maybe try to challenge yourself to come up with one talking point that you can share in 5 minutes or less. That would be great. Because think about networking events and the value that you walk away with when you go to them. What's important is to remember that you have an audience who are entrepreneurs themselves, and you could very well be sharing an idea that's going to help them be successful in their entity, right? So think about them. Number 7, property previews. I've seen great Facebook Lives where an agent will be premiering a home that they're about to put on the market, and they'll just do sneak peeks of the house. They don't show the address. They don't talk about the price. They just say, listen, here's a sneak peek. They make it really special. They build up the anticipation of this is such a beautiful place. I can't tell you the location yet, but you'll know it as soon as I show you where it's at. But they'll show some very unique features about the home. So they're already starting to market and build that great anticipation, which is wonderful. Of course, you always want to check with your local MLS, right? What can or can't you do? And if Facebook Live to preview a property is something that you should not do, then you should definitely listen. And also talk to your broker owner about that too. Number 8 is interview someone. I'm sure there's a influencer in your community that you can interview, or what about a business owner in your community that maybe they've had a business for 25 years or 50 years in that community? Interview them and, really get up close and personal and ask them, what is it that they've done to sustain their business for so long? What's that secret sauce? Get them on camera and interview them. And remember, it's going to take the pressure off of you because it's not just you, delivering the content. And then workshops. I love this one because I was just at a workshop yesterday for one of our offices. And what's wonderful about workshops that you attend is you're always going to walk away learning something that you learned in which is going to help you deliver a better real estate experience. You can get on Facebook Live after the workshop is over. You could do it sitting in your parked car in the parking lot, and you can just say, wow, I just attended I attended a workshop, and I just have 3 minutes to share one tip that I believe is going to be a game changer in my business, and it also can be a game changer for your business. I've seen associates do this. It's really great because what you're doing is you're showing your audience that you're actually, focused on growing yourself as a person, as a professional as well. So that's really important. Share that information. Remember, you've got entrepreneurs in your social sphere, and they would benefit from that too. And then number 10, finally, Q&A. Think about all the questions you get asked, like repeatedly. Look in your text messages. Listen to your voicemails. Go to your emails. If someone has asked the question more than twice, or maybe you get that question asked numerous times, 2, 3 times, that's a perfect topic to talk about in your Facebook Live. It could just be a Q&A session, and you can spend 5 minutes on a particular topic and have people join you. These are all reasons, and these are things that you're experiencing in your day-to-day as, already. So now I want you to think about sharing them with others. Now, I'm going to share with you some personal and professional experiences that I've shared on Facebook Live that really have been great experiences. Here is a presentation of Tammy Bunnell. She's our CEO, and she was talking to a room of leaders in Connecticut. And here she shared the exit story, and it was a fantastic presentation. Now, something important to note here, right? What I did was I was sure to talk to Tammy, before she before she addressed the audience, to see if it was okay, if I got her permission to broadcast this live on Facebook Live. Now, that's a professional courtesy that you should absolutely do. And especially in a professional setting, like I said, not all attendees want to be featured in a live broadcast. So permission can really go a long way. But this was great because I was able to, it was almost like saving a seat for you, like that empty seat right there in the shot. It's like you sitting there watching everything that's going on, everything that Tammy's saying. So it was really special to bring people in and have them engage with us. In this example, this is AJ Plant. He's our regional owner for Exit Realty Eastern Ontario. And Joyce Borman, his regional admin, and myself, we went to present a donation to a local organization called Shepherds of Good Hope. His agents and leaders in his region raised money to help a local shelter serve people with addictions and homelessness. Such a wonderful, cause. And remember, you got to think about who's able to tune into your broadcast, right? So your current as well as your future buyers and sellers. So you got to ask yourself, is showcasing your involvement in your community a good thing? It is. It absolutely is. And we also had some fun. We were singing a few lines of Let It Snow because it was snowing, and I'm from Arizona, so this was such a treat. And I want you to remember also that it's okay that you have a little bit of fun too, when you're doing a Facebook Live. Now, take a look at this image. This was a personal trip that I took to Mount Rushmore. And I was compelled to share this because how often do you get to visit a national monument, right? This may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it was absolutely awe-inspiring. So I shared the moment by pulling my social audience into it and having them experience it right along with me. It was so special. I just felt more people needed to see it. And here's what happened. Those who've never seen it in person, they got to enjoy it with me. I had endless thanks and comments about how beautiful it was. Some even said how they remembered seeing it as a child and how it reminded them of the memories when they had gone as a young kid. Some even said that it was on their bucket list, and they were now even more excited to go see it in person for themselves. For me, moments like this that are they just take my breath away, right? They move me to think about sharing it. So that was a really great opportunity. So now I want you to think about the fact that it's your turn now, right? Now that you're absolutely more than ready to get started on using, Facebook Live and doing a broadcast, whether you're using your mobile phone or your desktop, it's time to take your engagement to the next level because you owe it to your audience to give them the best opportunity to get to know you as a person. So I want you to start broadcasting today. All right, Susan, do we have any questions from our audience? I'm sure we do.
We do. First one, who can see my live videos?
Okay, so like any other post, Susan, you control who sees your live videos. You can choose your audience before you go live by tapping the privacy settings and selecting the audience that you want. So just like any other post, you pick and choose.
It's kind of cool. I noticed on one of your screenshots you had something like 100 reactions at the time that the live went on, but you had over 1,300 views, so they kind of live on. So not just the current audience will see it, right? It'll live on in your timeline.
Absolutely. So those emotions. Again, it's a great way to just see how you can measure your success that way, right? You can go back and you can see, wow, was that successful? How many people responded with, emotions like a thumbs up or a love or a wow or a angry, whatever it is. Yeah, you can definitely see the responses that way.
Yeah, for sure. Can I delete my live videos?
Yes, you can definitely delete your live videos, and you can also delete comments. So if you have a comment maybe that's unfavorable or kind of off-putting, yes, you can delete those too.
That's good to know. And our last question, will people know my location when I go live?
As with any other post, Susan, you can control whether your location is shared when you go live. If you have location services enabled, you can tag the location of your broadcast before you start broadcasting. I love to do that. And if you don't want your location shared, don't add your location to your broadcast before you go live. Especially if I'm here in my home doing something special. I don't like to share exactly where I am on the map. But when I'm out and about in offices and at a networking event or a location for an event, I want to make sure people know exactly where I am. Yeah.
Great idea. That's it for our questions.
Awesome. I just want to take a moment, Susan, to just, for our audience, right? I want you to remember that three things. Number one, you can broadcast using the only me setting. Listen, that's gold, all right? And remember, those live broadcasts will only be seen by you. So this is a great way to practice. And then number two, go back and leverage the top 10 tips not to miss that I shared so that you can be your best broadcaster from the get-go, all right? And then number three, and I feel it's the most important, just be brief and talk as though you're having a conversation with a friend, because actually you are. You're talking to a whole bunch of your friends all at the same time. And I also want to just leave you with this to reflect with as we close, is that remember, even those who've mastered their obstacles, they were all beginners once, okay? And they got good at it. And then they got better. And then they mastered it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be good. And then I want you to commit to getting better. And then what I want you to do is I want you to master it by teaching someone else how to do this. Because remember, your clients are entrepreneurs too. I want you to teach them how to do that, how to better communicate and how to better communicate effectively and engage with their clients so that they will likely, they'll likely succeed in business, right? They're going to generate more business for themselves as well. And you taught them how to do that. When you help other people be successful, that's where we all grow. I just want you to remember, be good and then get better and then master it by teaching someone else. Thanks, everyone.